This is a brief video demonstration on the use of the Deltec Cozmo pump. Unfortunately, it's no longer manufactured in the United States, but there may be some children out there who are or adults who are using the insulin pump, and I'm going to show you a few basic features. On the pump, you've got the main screen. Even when the pump is asleep or not in any active mode, you will have a date and the current basal rate, which is at 0.300 units per hour. Down here you've got the buttons. You've got an up and down button. The down button also serves as a light button, and then you have buttons on either side, and that will help you navigate through the options on the screen. On the side of the pump, you've got a quick bolus button, and this is, if this is activated, you can press this and it will go right to giving a bolus without having to scroll through the various menu screens. You also have a little window that tells you how much insulin is in the pump. The black dot is right about there, so I know I have just under 3 mLs or 300 units of insulin, and I'll also show you on the display screen where you get the accurate amount. On the back of the pump, the important things are this is a Deltec Cozmo 1800 insulin pump, and down here in the white letters is the serial number or SN number, and if you call the company, you'll want to give them the serial number of the pump that you're working with. There's also a graphic on the back here that shows which way the battery goes in. This takes a normal AAA battery and it is put in with the positive facing down and the negative facing up. On the top of the screen, on the top of the pump, you've got a battery screen. It's very easy to open and close this with a coin. You also have where the insulin comes out, and it's protected by this heavy plastic case, so it does, which is probably the point where it can crack the most. So going back to the very front of the pump, we're going to touch any button to wake up the pump, and we have our main screen. Here we see that there are 249.5 units of insulin, and that is almost full. Each of those lines represent some insulin. We also have a full battery power. We are in basal pattern 1, and we're at 0.3 units an hour. If we want to see more of the menu screens, we can press the main menu. The first thing you're going to do most often is do a meal bolus. That's going to be boluses that you use for meals or snacks or anytime you eat carbohydrates, except for when you're treating a low blood sugar. So we're going to press select. We are going to do a standard bolus for this example, and the pump is set up so that it is already populated with this person uses 1 unit per 15 grams of carbohydrates. So in this example, I'm going to take 30 grams of carbohydrates and I'm going to press next. And then we can add a correction bolus. And a correction bolus is that little bit of insulin if your blood sugar is outside of target range. So it's pre-populated for yes. I'm going to press enter, and I can put the blood glucose. It's defaulted to 120, but let's say this person's blood sugar is only 100. So we're going to scroll down to 100. Oops. And we go back to 100, and when we get to the correct blood glucose amount, we're going to press next, and this is asking the bolus amount that's needed to adjust a blood sugar 20 milligrams per deciliter below the target, and a 30 gram meal or snack is 1.6 units. And we just press, if you wanted to override that, you could go down a little bit further and check what you want, and then hit the delivery button, and the insulin will start being delivered. For purposes of time constraints, I'm just going to wait till it gets to a half a unit, and then I'm going to stop it. So if any time during this bolus, and you can see that it's going fairly slow, but that would be very comfortable. You wouldn't feel a big push of insulin under the skin or in the fat tissue. You can cancel that. So if you have second thoughts or bite into whatever you're eating and doesn't taste good, or you don't want it anymore, you can stop that. So I'm going to prepare to stop that at 0.5 units. And then it goes back to the main menu. One of the other things we use at camp is, or for using the Deltec Cozmo pump, is if you are correcting for a high blood sugar. We're going to go to the main menu, and that's considered a correction bolus. It's correcting a blood sugar over and above what your target is. So I'm going to press select, and we're going to do, oops, I didn't do it backward. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go down to correction bolus, press select, and it's saying a current blood sugar of 100. So it's remembering what I had just entered in there, but in this example, I'm going to go up to 200. The longer you press it, the faster it goes. So you want to just be a little bit careful. But if you overshoot it, it's easy to go back. So there's 200. We're going to go to the next screen. It's telling us that the amount of bolus to adjust for a blood sugar that's 80 milligrams over and above the target is 1.10 units. And I'm going to deliver that. And again, for this exercise, it's going to take a while to scroll through. I'm just going to go to 0.25. It's also important to know how much insulin had been delivered previously, so I will show you where you can find that in the pump. So once it gets to 0.25, I'm going to cancel it, and we're into our main menu. If I want to know that insulin was delivered previously, I'm going to go to my menu screen, and I'm going to go down to history. That's everything that's happened. And you can see that there's a number of different options here. We want to know how much insulin has been delivered. So I'm going to go to bolus history and press the select button, and it will say that a correction bolus was canceled, that 0.26 was delivered. I can use this arrow, it says back, I can use this button to go back to the one before, you can use my down arrow to go to the ones that were before that. So there's my 1.10 unit and a bolus correction and how much insulin is on board. So it kind of gives you everything that is related to a bolus history. We're going to go back and back again till we're at our main screen. Another important thing to know about using an insulin pump is you may need to override that 0.3 units or that basal rate amount. If you are exercising, you might need less insulin per hour. If you're sick or have any kind of concurrent illness, you may need a little bit more insulin. So we're going to go down to temporary rate. And that temporarily overrides, and you can see that the duration you can do anywhere from 30 minutes to 12 hours, and we're going to do 1 hour, and right now it's at 100%, so I'm getting my full 0.3 units per hour. And in this example, I'm going to hit next. It drops me down to the rate at 100%. That's my normal usual amount, but I'm going to decrease that, but just to show you that you can increase if you need a little bit more insulin. So in this example, I'm going to use a -50. And then it's asking for next, so I'll select the next screen, and you get a chance to review this because your choices are either back or deliver. So 30 minutes and actually I had wanted to do an hour, so let me go back. I'm going to go up to 1 hour at 50%. I'm going to go next, and now I'm back 1 hour at 50%, which is half of what my normal amount is, and I'm going to go to deliver. You go back to your main screen, and it will say that you are in a temp rate is active and the current amount from the 0.30 normal bolus is now 0.15 units. And the pump will go back to sleep. The nicest thing about the temporary basal rate is at the end of that hour, you don't have to remember to turn it back to the normal usual amount. As the time ticks down, it will kick over into your normal usual amount. If you needed to cancel a temporary basal rate, say you have a high blood sugar after exercise and not a low blood sugar after exercise, we're going to wake up the pump. We're going to go to our menu. We're going to go down to temp rate. And so we can't set a temporary basal rate until another one is active. And actually, I did this wrong. To stop the temporary basal rate from the main screen, you just press stop, and you will get two options. You can stop all delivery. That's the temporary basal rate and the usual normal insulin delivery, or you can just stop the temporary rate. So we're going to stop the temporary rate, and it's again confirming that we had 59 minutes left. And do we want to stop the temp rate? No or yes. We're going to select yes, and then you're back to your normal basal pattern with no. Oops. Okay. You're back to your normal basal pattern with the temporary basal rate is gone. Okay. We can restart the pump, restart the temp basal if you've done it accidentally. You want to reset the temporary basal rate, but if you go back home, you can stop the delivery altogether. So this is canceled that temporary basal rate. And then we'll go to our main menu. The last thing I want to show you is if you get an alarm on the pump, where that might show up. Now, I haven't had any recent alarms, but I'm going to show you where you would find them. You're going to go to your from your main screen. You're going to go down to history. Again, that's everything that has happened previously on the pump. We're going to select that, and we're going to go to complete history. That's going to show every bolus rate. So this is we are showing that we had the delivery was stopped by the user. The one previous to that was you use your down arrow. The delivery was restarted. The basal rate was changed to 0.30 units per hour. The delivery was stopped by user. So it will, if you have an alarm and it shows up on the screen, but you're in the middle of an activity or you can't see what's going on, or someone comes to you and says that they had a delivery, an alarm history, you can go back to that complete history and see everything that that goes through the pump. And we're going to go back to our main screen. And so we've gone through how to give a food bolus, how to give a correction bolus, how to use the temporary bolus, and also where to find alarms. If you have other questions, you can call the 800 number on the back of the pump, this 800 number in the USA, and you can talk to customer service if you are actively using a pump and you have some questions or concerns, or if you are in at Camp for Children with Diabetes, you can bring that to the attention of the medical team. Thanks for listening.